body of the day. Something's roaring in my leg, slipping shivered out the way. The slow plane's playing in my head. It walks on my body of the day. Something's roaring in my leg, slipping shivered out the way. Slow plane's playing in my head. It walks on my body of the day. Something's roaring in my leg, slipping shivered out the way. The slow plane's playing in my head. It walks on my body of the day. I just can't lead up. Don't wanna get on my chest like when I'm in the tub. Because it's burning bright, but I don't care if the touch is broken left inside. Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name is Joelynn.
Hi, my name is Danny.
Hello, my name is Afham. The history of billiard or pool is long and very rich. The game has been played by kings and commoners, presidents, mental patients, ladies, gentlemen, and hustlers alike. It evolved from a lawn game similar to the croquet played sometime during the 15th century in Northern Europe and probably in France. Played moved indoors to a wooden table with a green cloth to stimulate grass, and a simple border was placed around the edge. The ball was shoved rather than struck with wooden sticks called maces. The term billiard is derived from French, either from the word billiard, one of the wooden stick, or bill, a ball.
So now, let us talk about Newton's three laws. Alright, so Newton's first law talks about when an object remains stationary, it will continue to remain stationary unless a force is acted upon it. This law also applies for when an object is moving. So when it is moving, it will continue to move in a straight line with a uniform velocity unless an external force is acted upon it. Meanwhile, Newton's second law talks about force is a product of mass and acceleration. Both force and acceleration are vector quantities, while mass is a scalar quantity. So the direction of force depends on the direction of acceleration. Now, let's talk about Newton's third law. So Newton's third law basically explains that for every action, there's a reaction. So we can see an example based on a moving car. When a car moves, we can see that the tire pushes backwards, but the car is moving forwards. So since we now understand Newton's three laws, we can now relate them to our daily life. For our topic, we will be talking about the dynamics of pool. So let's see how Newton's three laws work with the mechanism of pool.
The main physical concept of pool is the conservation of linear momentum. This means that the momentum of the system before and after collision are the same. An example of this is shown in a straight shot. One billiard ball which has some initial momentum about to strike its other billiard ball which wasn't moving. If you look at the total momentum of the system, you will have to add up the momentum of the moving ball, the cue ball, and the momentum of our target ball, and that momentum will add up to some number. Then, in the second half, after they collided, you had the cue ball stand still and the target ball shoot off in some direction. Now, let's take a look at a slightly different example. The one where the two balls strike each other, but one is going in different direction. In that process then, all the momentum before is the same as the momentum after, just the objects that are moving are different. So here are two balls and the cue ball is moving towards the second one that are just stand still and then collide. We can see that the target move towards the hole while the cue ball move in another direction. However, when adding up the two vectors, we can see that the resultant vectors is collinear to the initial motion of the cue ball. So, linear momentum is said to be conserved.
So this is an example relating to Boon of Newton's first law. As we can see, the target ball is not moving, meaning that it is stationary. The target ball has no external force acting upon it. This is why it remains stationary. However, as you can see, once the cue ball strikes the target ball, it moves, meaning that the cue ball acts as the external force, causing the target ball to move in a straight line. This is a perfect example of pull relating to the law of inertia. As we all know, Newton's second law states that force is the product of mass and acceleration. Both mass and acceleration are vector quantities, and therefore they are said to have direction. As we can see from the previous example, the cue ball is said to be the force because we are striking the cue ball and thus we are applying force to it. Once it strikes the target ball moves in a straight line. Therefore, the target ball is said to have acceleration. We can clearly see that force and acceleration, which is the cue ball and the target ball respectively, are moving in the same direction. So this is a very clear example of Newton's second law in action. Meanwhile, Newton's third law states that for every action, there's a reaction. In this example, we can see that once the cue ball strikes the target ball moves in one direction and the cue ball moves in the opposite direction. This is because the action, which is the cue ball striking the target ball, causes it to propagate in one direction, while the reaction causes the cue ball to move in the opposite direction. This is a clear example of Newton's third law in action.
Hi everyone, I'll be talking about the environmental connection and the application of dynamics towards billiards. Billiards, or the game of pool, does not have a great impact on the environment. However, one of its connection to the environment is the transformation, conservation, and conversion of energy during the process. Energy plays a big role when it comes to billiards. At the beginning of the game, the billiard balls have the largest amount of gravitational potential energy stored. When the 10 billiard balls are struck by the stick, the gravitational potential is converted to kinetic energy as it is moving. When the balls stop moving and is stationary, the energy is converted from kinetic back into gravitational potential energy. This is one of the biggest energy conversion observed in billiards. The objective of the game is to get as many billiard balls into the pocket hole as possible by striking the cue ball with a stick so that it hits the second ball, aiming towards a pocket hole. By doing so, the energy of the first ball will be converted to the second ball so that it moves. The collision between the two balls is an elastic one. When the cue ball collides with the second ball, kinetic energy is transferred to the second ball, but not all of it. The mass difference of the cue ball and the normal billiard ball is very minimal. Because the size and the mass of the ball are almost equally the same. Because of that, the collision of the billiard balls will be an elastic one. When the cue ball and a billiard ball collide with each other, part of the energy from the cue ball is transferred to the billiard ball, and some of the energy is converted to sound and heat energy. Heat energy is caused by friction between the ball and the table. Energy is given off into the environment in the game of billiards.
According to the University of Copenhagen, which is in Myanmar, proves that playing pool table with friends can keep people to be active. Why I say that playing pool table can keep people active is because, well, what my friend told me that playing pool table is a perfect exercise due to long periods of rest between activities, such as after working hours. In pool table, there are some social and health benefits that does not involve with the World Health Organization. Pool table is a physical activity that can last for hours, and it also encourages long periods of rest with less intensity. Pool table is actually a good sport between the age of 20 and above because the game varies between period of activities. This means that elder people can continue playing for hours without feeling bored. Therefore, pool table also can help people to improve their shooting skills such as hand and eye coordinates, which is a basic skill to learn to play pool table. It also creates competitive spirit in an individual situation, develops a thinking strategy to win the game when competing with other peoples, and many more. Playing billiards, which is also known as pool table, comes with a certain lifestyle, drinking beer and ramps for instance. A guy named Larson from the University of Copenhagen found out that older man is more enjoying pool table than the younger man. Why I say that is because the older men are more socially active in their local communities. Playing pool table also can improve people's communication skill, such as talking with friends while playing pool tables. A cue sport such as pool table is known worldwide. People from around the world still can enjoy playing pool table even though they travel to overseas such as in the United States and the United Kingdom. People who have health difficulty and physical difficulty can also play pool table. The reason I say this is because playing pool table does not require a lot of energy to play.